Hey YouTube world, and hey to my Neville Nation. I know you're out there. Welcome to Neville Girl Forever, or welcome back. And on this channel, we just discuss and explore everything Neville Goddard and anything related. And I invite you to join me as my dream life unfolds. And I'm here to help support you on helping you unfold your dream life as well. And so today is interesting. It's been a minute, so if you haven't seen me in a minute, I hope you all have had an amazing holiday, amazing Christmas, Thanksgiving, getting ready for a new year. I did intend to post a lot more, but things being what they were, it's been a busy time of year. And I've been collecting my thoughts because today is going to be a couple different things. Today is about discussing channel goals. I've been really pondering my exact voice or mission as Neville Girl because I just stumbled upon Neville Goddard this spring. And so for those of you who are not familiar with Neville Goddard, hang in there, it'll hopefully all soon start to make sense. And then for those of you who are more seasoned and familiar with Neville Goddard and looking for a journey member, I'm your girl. And so that's part of what we're talking about today, is that I wanted to discuss where I'm going with my channel and the first year review of working with Neville Goddard processes, since I just came across him in the spring and my life changed overnight. And so many amazing, wonderful, beautiful things came flooding in. And then I had to find out, like, why was this working? Now, do I have to understand why and who, what, where, when, why? Nope, it works anyway. But of course, all of us having curious minds, and the logical mind, unfortunately, likes to figure things out. But also, just so for myself, I wanted to be able to repeat. And so that's what this channel, as I've been thinking and pondering about what I wanted to share about my channel, like what was the voice, the direction. So channel goals. As I've mentioned before, I did get certified as a law of attraction life coach with Abraham Hicks, who has a similar message as Neville. So does Dr. Joe Dispenza. Those three, I really feel like very similar in a lot of ways, but it wasn't until I came across Neville Goddard that it all clicked for me. So, but even though I got certified as a law of attraction life coach, my goal was not to be a life coach. I wanted to understand it better. Like, how does the law of attraction work? Which, once I stumbled across law of assumption, I started to finally get it. Because I had a lot of success, but it was hit or miss. And it wasn't until I could look back through the eyes and lens of Neville's teachings could I understand why my manifestations did work. Because that's what I want. We all want to repeat, right? We all want our dream life. So, but I did it at the time because with my spas that I wanted to have proactive conversations with clients. And so as much as I loved clients talking to me about things in their life, I wanted the conversations to go in a different direction. So that was my motivation. Those were the two sides of wanting to be certified. But for as far as a YouTube channel and being Neville Girl, because I am in love with Neville's teachings, and it's helped open my eyes and become more empowered. So that's my wish for you, my assumption for you, is that I'm helping encourage and inspire and just share things as I go along. So I'm not here to be a life coach. I'm not here to coach you through Neville processes. I am here more as a demonstration channel. I'm going to create, it's more like the voice of like a vlog, like a Neville vlog, demonstration or teaching through demonstration, that bringing you along for different adventures, different life stories that I'm going to be sharing. And then once we're at 1,000 subs, go live, and we can do some coaching there. It's just that my goal is not to sell packages, etc. I think there's many wonderful channels that do that. And as Neville would say, if you ever just read and understood some of his most basic information, just like when I came across the thank you prayer and a few other little things, that's enough. But it does really help to have a mentor or mentors, right? So I still watch a ton of people, and I'm here. I more want to share who my favorite channels are at the time, what I'm getting out of them, what it helped enhance on my Neville journey. How did it help me with some manifesting? But I still think the basics are the basics. So like Neville would say, you don't need a teacher. He did teach, but you don't need one. And you don't need a mentor, but he did have one. He had Abdullah. And so, yeah, you could just go at it like I did, just the thank you prayer. And that probably is an amazing start. It was for me. And sometimes I feel like you can learn so much that you can bog yourself down too. So we're going to talk about all these things as I post and create, different episodes of my vlog. That's the best way I want to call it right now, because sometimes I'm going to be quiet and silent while I'm working on things or preparing for an adventure or something, and then I'm going to come back and share about it. So those are my channel goals. It is definitely to become more consistent and to do, and eventually go live, especially on a very consistent, because it'll be easy just to flip on a switch. But really is to talk about who are my favorite resources, how it's helping enhance me, what I'm learning, how would it help me with a certain manifestation, and just to encourage you and to be a resourceful journey member. So those are channel goals. And I'm super happy to be here. I miss y'all when I'm not on here, and I'm very excited that we can build a community where we have some place where we can talk about this. Because when I ran across Neville and all these amazing things start flooding into my life, my friends were asking me about it. But once I mentioned there's this guy Neville and there's a thank you prayer, beyond that, it became a little much. And I wanted to keep talking about it because it was so flipping exciting. So exciting. So between that and the fact that I've been dreaming about a YouTube channel for so long, I used to think maybe I wanted to just do law of attraction experiments and then kind of report back. But this is more refined because it's about Neville Goddard and the law of assumption. And it's refined because with Neville, I get results. With law of assumption, I get results. And I'm sure if you've been hanging out in the community long enough, you will have heard that too. It's like we finally have a formula, even though it's the wild, wild west when it comes to law of assumption, because all of our assumptions are so different and how we get there is different. But hearing someone else's voice, encourage you and at least share what's working, it might give you some things to ponder. I listen to so many amazing people on YouTube to ponder and just to open my eyes. But also I realized that basics, back to the basics, is kind of also where it's at too. So let's jump into the first year summary of working. It's my first year with Neville Goddard, 10 months in. 2024 is rounding up and 2025 is beginning. I wanted to post more during the holidays, but it's just not been a thing for me. And I really wanted to think about what I was sharing today. So this is not going to be a short video. It's not going to be crazy long, but it's probably going to be one of my longest videos because it's a whole year and what I learned. And there's a lot I learned and I want to share that with you. So if you're in for a quick little something today, I mean, there'll be plenty to listen to, but it's not going to be short. So first year in, and I mentioned it just a couple minutes back, but it just pros and cons of working with Neville Goddard and the law of assumption. It's the wild, wild west, which is very exciting, but it also means that what could work for one person doesn't work for the other. I love the vibration and the energy of all the possibilities that exist with this wild, wild west. And the things I've learned this year are so eye-opening that I'm excited to share with you the nuggets that I have gleaned from this year and to continue to share more about things unfolding in my life. So First of all, I learned that, let's see, where do I begin? It's an all-in thing. That's what I learned. I mean, a couple of videos back, I described kind of like my formula for what I do in one day that I've kind of put together throughout the year, like what works for me about my nighttime evening ritual, how I spend a lot of time in the mood. That's why I've been doing these videos, the Delulu videos, the mood ones, because they all matter. It matters a lot. I feel like whatever can keep you in your end state is highly valuable. It's gonna be different for all of us, but so I learned that it's not duality, or thinking of it as duality doesn't serve us. And I went through that a little bit this year because I was trying to find the words to say, this is how all these amazing things came flooding into my life. But the more I thought about it and tried to break it down, the more I realized I was having some duality thinking, meaning like there's my this life and then there's my dream life. That there's this and then there's what I do with Neville. Even though initially with the thank you prayer and going to the end, I was actually, without finding words, so maybe finding words didn't help, just walking that out from the end space as much as possible, as frequently as possible, is the best way to say it. And I'm going to use different words at different times to describe it. It is definitely self-love. I discovered for me that trying to stay, or not even say trying, walking out the end state as much as possible every day throughout the day, and denying what I see in the 3D, the old shadow life, as the remnants, as Neville Goddard would say, is that these are based on our old assumptions and our old thoughts. So learning how to deny those. And I must say, I've learned to be pretty good at that. And I'm going to share some stories about that. Those are some of the stories I like to share. May not always have a bell and whistle, but it'll have something in there. There'll be a nugget for y'all. So I learned that thinking of the end state, or working with Neville and thinking of it as a dual thing, like it's a part-time job, not serving us, not serving me, at least I can say. That it's all in, that I've gone to the end, I've done my sats, I've done my state akin to sleep, I visualize the end state in a situation, and then from there, realize that it's already happened. It's realer than the 3D, especially if you've done it in first person and you can feel all the sensations, and just know that it happened. So that can be tricky for our human minds, right? I mean, that's one of those things where you have to believe that it's real. Now, for me, when this was all happening and things came flooding in, it's because it felt so good that I loved it so much that I wanted to dwell in that feeling. And I'm going to share some different things along the way that have helped me stay in there. But I can say that I did slip into a duality, and that's where things got a little tricky this year. Because where things were flowing before without even trying, the duality started to have a trying essence in it. And I'll get more specific as I find the words and other things unfold, and when we do more lives. But just realizing that just when you think of it as, and we'll go over here in a little bit because I wrote it down, so is about the thoughts that you would have from the end state, and becoming familiar with them and welcoming them, and just starting to get more comfortable with who that person is. So one of the great things about going all in and denying the 3D is asking yourself, and I had to ask myself, what are we consenting to in the 3D? If this is a matrix, if this is a simulation, and if this is really a multiverse where we are selecting by choice, by thought, by actions, what version of us we want to be in the multiverse. If there's billions of versions of us, what are we wanting to align to moment by moment? So much here, right? So I had to learn And I will get more specific and more intimate about things as we go along, to ask myself, what am I consenting to? And sometimes even why. The why, not so much. We don't have to try and go in and fix things with the law of assumption. I love that. There's nothing to fix. We align to the version we want, which is perfect, whole, and complete. That's where our dream life is at, right? So there's nothing to solve there. It's just trying to find our calibration. And I think that's what people refer to. When I heard it, I was like, oh, this is perfect. It's like the Wild Wild West. So I discovered I absolutely love the power of I am. And so for those of you who are newer, I'm just going to say it. Neville always talked about that you and God are one. And the part of you that is God is your wonderful imagination. But we are part of God. So God is quite an amazing thing in the scope of everything. It's, reading the Bible, and Neville really was into the Bible. And I love this too. So I'll say this part too before I start this conversation, is that taking religion out of it, that the Bible is a great manifestation tool, that God told us how to manifest our dream life through reading the Bible. Now, I recognize it's not for everybody, and but I do believe that there's so many scriptures and so many things that are leading and pointing us towards our power of who we are, working and being a part of God. And so one of the discoveries that really struck me, and I've heard it before, but it's like hearing it this way through different channels. Two of my favorite channels right now, and they talk about the power of I am. My two favorites right now is Be Something Wonderful with Tom Curran, and also I believe it's called The Power of I Am, and I believe the guy's name is Eric. Those are two of my favorites that kind of go in that direction to help us understand and feel empowered by understanding how powerful we are, that we are part of the great I am, and that the power of I am has a lot of consequence and significance. In other words, when we say I am, how are we finishing that sentence? So I want to say, I don't know, maybe 5 or 6 videos ago, I was talking about answering the question, I am the person who, fill in the blanks, because that will tell you a lot, and you can change it. At any point, you can stop, pause, and decide that is not who you are aligning to. You can choose, that's part of the power of I am. So as an example, if you answer the question and say, I am the person who is an amazing manifester, and I am the person who is so loved and cherished and adored. I am the person who is, living their dream life now. I am the person who, you just fill in the blanks, or just say I am. So we'll continue on with this, but you can choose your I am. And that is so powerful to understand. So I discovered that. I was like, wow. Hearing it in that context, that we are one with God and that we are particles of God expressing themselves, and that we can just declare and choose, and that's part of our alignment. So it's not like with the law of attraction, it was always like manifesting. Well, really, we are aligning our energy to the version of us, the version of I am that we are choosing. So, and then blend that with the end state. Hang with me here, but blend that with the end state. So you go to your end state and you're visualizing having millions, or you are visualizing with your SP or whatever. Then I think at first, and this is what I really had to think about, I would get some random ideas, thoughts start to think themselves, but I would be like, okay, so this is kind of what a millionaire does, or this is kind of what a special, relationship is like. So, but I would start to make decisions from those vantage points. So I think it's okay to just say, oh, even ask yourself, what would a millionaire do at this point? And so some of the interesting answers you get. And when we go live, we'll be able to talk more about those kind of things. But having an awareness of that, or even asking yourself the question, means that you are aligning to that. So, and I'll give you one example, a couple of little examples. Like from the end state. So if you are a multimillionaire and you're living your dream life now, and it doesn't even have to have a dollar amount. Just you're living your dream life now. Your life is on the go. It's on the fly. You're busy living your best life now. That's a really great one for I am a person who is living their best life now. But back to this. So I'm the person who gets fitness on the fly. You know, my schedule isn't always consistent. I love when it is, but getting fitness on the fly and buy these kinds of things or go to these kind of places. You know, sometimes even though I have a regular gal I go to see at the salon, sometimes I started stock up on hair color. We had formulated it together. I love to add the extra red to my red, my natural red. And so it was like, okay, when I'm coloring my hair in the evening, it's because I have something pressing coming up. I can't just stick to a Saturday or Sunday appointment. It's tailoring my life to, but the storyline behind it was like, okay, this is like what, you know, people on the go, people living their dream life, they do. So hopefully that makes a little sense to you. We'll talk about that more when we go live, but those are kind of living the end state because you're thinking from that version is like, this is what a person does when, and this is what it looks like. And they'll both kind of, it'll all cement itself for you, it becomes more consistent. But those are some examples. Or prepare for a trip. We've talked about this before. Preparing for a trip. So as an example, I was out and about shopping for Christmas and I came across this really adorable mini emergency kit. I should have probably just taken it out of its package, but it's adorable. I have a little section in my walk-in closet where it's just my packing center and my little different drawers for all aspects of how I like to pack for trips because I'm a person who loves to travel. I do travel. My dream life includes a lot of travel. So this is a cute little kit that has a lot of emergency items in it. It's part of the end state. So when you recognize the end state in your 3D, go for it because that is you acting it out. So that's a really good example other than just thoughts because thoughts are powerful enough. So like when I was getting to the gym at different random times, I'm like, well, this is just what someone does who is busy living their best life now. You get it on the fly. And I feel like it's a privilege to work out and be healthy and thrive and all those great things. And just like even pursuing opportunities, but we talked about that if you saw my last car video, and there will be a part 2 to that. It's knowing when an inspired action, because Neville, like many, Abraham Hicks was this way too. Do not take action unless it feels inspired. So it's from being a human being, not a human doing. So it's not like efforting to make something happen. It's not efforting to make a trip happen. It's not efforting to make anything happen. It's just that, oh, here's this cute little emergency travel kit. Or Googling what a particular trip looks like. What are the tickets looking like? What is it? Printing out a packing list for that particular trip. That particular time of year or all the seasons because you're just not sure. Just little inquiries, but being detached from it too. It's just knowing that this is a part of who you are. These are the things that interest you. This is where your focus goes. So, time. That's another topic I want to talk about today. I had to make notes because with me, I can't stay on track without really making notes because I have a million thoughts flooding at me as there's so much that's happened this year. So time is not linear. And I did a video about quite a while back about everything being now and the power of now. Because really, quantum physics has proven and shown that we just have now. So there is really no past and there really is no future, but any decision we make or any thought we're having can change how we perceive the past or what the past was or what the future would be as well. But now is the manifestation point. Like now is the decision we make, the thoughts we're making, the things that we're affirming for. So it's now, it's the power of now. And quantum jumps, or at least how I feel that I've been able to observe or comprehend this, is quantum jumps happen when instead of just going from one small thought to another, because I feel like we jump back and forth. We'll talk about that in a minute. So it never really appears like much is really changing. It's like when you can be that delusional and embrace that much and align that much to the version of you that you want to be or choosing to be in the simulation, that it collapses time and you make a jump. And I'm going to grab a piece of paper for this because I love this. And I got this from the channel, let's see, Mark Houghton. He talks about winning the lottery a lot. I believe he won the lottery at least once, if not multiple times. And also the channel Be Something Wonderful talks about a lot of these things to do with time. Like we think of time as being linear. And so we need it because our minds would basically go insane. You know, if you had to believe like these are years, you know, these are days, these are weeks, these are years, right? But really everything is happening now, and we are just picking the version of now that we want to be. So like this is how the human mind has to comprehend it. And I don't have a line, but this is just, I love when I saw this on Mark's channel. He just took time and took this piece of paper and folded it. And that's collapsing time. And it just really stood out to me that we need to see like years and whatever, but changes of thoughts and choosing who we want to be can collapse time. So that's when we make a jump. We don't have to figure anything out. There was nothing to figure out. We just chose. And I believe both of those channels are really awesome for describing that. Like I said, I'm not here to be a coach necessarily, maybe to coach you on, cheer you on, encourage you, but not so much as a teacher, because I feel like there's a lot of people who have specialties that I love listening. So that's when we make a quantum jump. I thought I'd share that with you because I thought that was a pretty ingenious way to share what they are discovering with the quantum field and with quantum physics and how time actually works. We just need to believe in the natural construct for humans. But this is a quantum jump right here. So, you know, you could be on one side of the paper and make some new decisions, go to the end, do your sats, and you can jump from one space to the other by just collapsing, folding time. Pretty cool. So, so choose your timeline that you want to be on, choose the version of you, and then live it out, which is the sats. And then any thought that comes to mind, or you could sit there and say to yourself, like I said, you could literally go, now that I have my dream life, what would I do? What does it look like? And you can answer yourself that way too. I don't think that there's a right or wrong there. Again, wild, wild west. So I also like the idea, and this actually specifically I got from the Be Something Wonderful channel, is choosing and declaring. Now, many people talk about this. They do on many channels, and I love it so much. And there'll be other channels that I'll be talking about. There's a lot of things I listen to because that's what I want in my mind, is I want reminders of who I am. And so with Be Something Wonderful, he went over, again, the power of I am. And so he actually had a list of affirmations he created that I kind of bended towards myself that I really love. And then I do a rampage off of this. So I'll give you an example. So my end state, who I am, this was really generic to begin with, but you can see how you can get more specific. Plus, it's whatever your assumption assigned to these words that matters. So, yep. So I had to refine it to mine, but he was describing how he jumped into his dream life. And so it's like saying, I am impeccably healthy. I am wealthy, but I like adding words in front of it. So I am undeniably wealthy, or however you want to say it. I am free. I am beautiful. I am in love, and I am deeply loved, and my life is a dream come true. But then I'll go down and kind of interject more. Like, I am impeccably healthy. I am the picture of health from head to toe. I am thriving. I am, so that's under the health, that I am super wealthy. I am undeniably wealthy. I am living my best life now. I am living in the lap of luxury. I am enjoying my best life now. I am free. I love that one, but I wanted to add, I am free. I am financially free. I am free as a bird to travel. I'm free to travel the world. Just free. So that's rampaging. It's adding on. I am beautiful. I am living a beautiful life. I am loved and supported by everyone. I am radiating beauty and kindness. I am radiating beauty from the heart and soul. I am attractive. I am in love. And he had just, I'm in love, I love adding, and I am deeply loved. And then adding on from there, I am deeply loved by my SP. I am just whatever comes to you on those things. So I'm deeply loved and cherished. I'm deeply appreciated. I am the power of I am, and choosing and declaring. So making up a short mantra and just saying it when you're driving or whatever have you, that has a magnetic energy, and it's a choice. You're deciding and you're declaring to the multiverse, and you are aligning when you're doing all that. So I love the power of I am. And that's how I rampage off of it. Those are just examples, but you pick your own. I liked his in general. There was a few other lines he added. And so I just added to my rampage. Like, also, I am whole, healthy, and complete. And then I like to say spiritually, mentally, emotionally, physically, those kind of things. Power of I am. So like I said, when I am doing my I ams, I love to do it when I'm driving. I'm free to say it as loud as I want. I can do it at home too. I also recommend, and I'm playing with doing it with mirror work as well, doing it in the mirror, because when we're talking in the mirror, we also are affecting the subconscious mind as well. So I will get back to you on that, but I've been playing with that. But I love the car. So another thing from this year. So I'm still stuck on the thank you prayer. Yep, that's not going anywhere anytime soon, people. No, friends, it's not. Because as soon as something comes up, whether it was an assumption that I had that created something, it just appears to be unwanted. As soon as I feel anxious, the thank you prayer. Because thank you for showing me that this issue with X is already solved. And if you have to say it all day, there's even a couple of audios out there with music that can do it. I will talk about some of my favorite channels for those kind of things. But that, when you're lying down and going to bed, because it's just while your subconscious is opening up in the evening, and it's a past tense. If you hear it, thank you for showing me that all of my issues have already been solved. It's done, it's complete. Let the subconscious, the simulation, all the things that we don't necessarily have to understand, let it go to work and do the work. Just know that it's already been solved. And if you could feel a relief come over you when you say the thank you prayer, and I've seen it solve itself in an instant. I think I talked about it when someone was parking in my parking spot for a while. I was patient about it, and my energetic beat it kind of thing that usually works, where I just assume energetically it's my spot. But that took about a week when I finally decided to put my energetic foot down and say, okay, we're pulling out the thank you prayer. But thank you prayer works, and it works. Like I said, I've seen it happen overnight. I've seen it happen in a couple hours or even a couple minutes. But just closing your eyes for a minute, you don't have to close them, but coming into alignment with that it's already solved, and that relief feeling, just let the universe, your subconscious, figure it all out. So that's not going anywhere, people. It really works. Like I said, and once I get to the summary of everything, I would say that we can go over a million different topics that help us and understand and stay in the end state and all those things, but it's still the nuts and bolts of it. One of them, I believe, is a thank you prayer, at least for me. And again, it's the law of assumption. I also still love, isn't it wonderful? Everything is wonderful. That is not going anywhere either. There's many audios. I love to listen to it. There's a couple channels I think that have amazing, isn't it wonderful, audios, because when you can tap into that everything is already complete, that you are in your end state, that you are living your dream life now, and everything is wonderful, that is a vibration. So as soon as personally, when I feel like something's getting a little sideways in my 3D and it's getting a little harder to deny, and of course we're supposed to kind of just deny it. We're supposed to let the old remnants, old shadows of our old assumptions, our old stories fade away. That is a wonderful one. I love the Elmer channel for that. I love his Isn't It Wonderful? That vibrationally brings me someplace, and he does have special vibration megahertz that go with it too, that I feel that's a pretty special one. I also love the Unseen Seraph. I think she's amazing at describing a lot of things about the law of assumption and how it works. And she has a Isn't It Wonderful that's also pretty nice. But you can just say it. I mean, once you listen to it enough, and I think this is what I've discovered, once I listen to it enough, I've come into alignment with that vibration so much that all I have to do is close my eyes and just think those words, and it comes flooding over me. So I love that. I learned that I can do that. It's a recall, and it helps me reset, because 3D, as we all know, I mean, I'm just saying, sometimes, you know, it sounds great on paper when people are saying it, like, oh, you just ignore it. Well, you know, there are times where it is a heck of a challenge. And so that is a resource. So that, and I forgot to mention this part. It is a wonderful blanket statement, a state of alignment for attracting or manifesting, or let's better said with the conversation of quantum physics, is with manifesting or aligning with multiple things at one time, because it's an open statement. Everything is wonderful. Everything is wonderful. Because Neville had given this to a woman where everything was going wrong in her life, and he said, you know, what would you say, what would you think, what would you believe if everything was going right in your life? You know, because she had a million things going wrong, and she came up with that. And I love that, because a lot of people use it, and I can see why. I absolutely love that one. I really do. So I will listen to Isn't It Wonderful many times, even sometimes in the evening or when I'm driving. Again, all in. Because I either believe, and we're going to believe in our end state, and everything is wonderful while things are fading out, or we're not. So it's whatever can keep you there. So, and it also, because the vibration is so high vibe, it's so in alignment with our greatest version of ourselves that also puts us into flow state, or at least it does for me. And again, this is my assumption, but for me, I find it helps keep me in flow state. And I hear some people talk about that, but and I've mentioned it before. So there's these amazing things that we see flooding in, like, oh my gosh, I just manifested, you know, so and so, such and such. Well, number one, we are also always manifesting 24/7. It's just a matter of what are we manifesting. So all things, big and small, are just manifestations, wanted and unwanted, because there's two sides of the energetic stick. So whatever you're giving attention to, whether it's like, I don't want this, universe doesn't hear don't want. It just hears want. It's the attention is the currency. So they're all manifestations. So I want to be magnetic at all times. I'm sure you do too. To my highest version of everything that I can align to at any given moment. I want to be in alignment to, isn't it wonderful? Everything's wonderful. I want to be in alignment to being at the right place at the right time. I want to be in alignment to be in a receivership, like in receiving mode, that I can not only be in the right place at the right time, but get the most amazing deal for something, or someone gives me the most amazing gift, or going on the most amazing trip, or I have this amazing opportunity that fell on my lap. That's flow state, and it all feels good. So I don't care if it's a penny on the parking lot. I don't care if it's like this crazy discount I got, or a trip, anything, you know, SP, just everything, wonderful romance, wonderful aspects of your life. It's all wonderful. So that's the other reason why I love, isn't it wonderful? Everything is wonderful. So that helps me stay more deeply connected to that vibration at all times. So you may want to check that out. And again, I mentioned my 2 channels I really love for that. But again, I mean, it's the Wild West. Whatever works for you. Maybe even read it on a card, and that's enough. I find I need things to get me in the mood, because I agree. It's like, once I read it and I understood, like when Neville was sharing, it is a mood. You want to bring that mood from the end back with you and then live it out. So I personally have to be feel the mood. I have to feel the vibration. So it being the Wild West out here with law of assumption, I hear people talk about not needing to feel anything. I mean, you don't need to be emotionally attached to it. That's a different topic. We will talk about that going down the road in a little bit more in here on today's things I want to talk and share about. But it's just that, what does it feel like to be in that juicy, yummy, delicious relationship? Well, that's the mood I want to be in. Same thing with, you know, great prosperity. Same thing with great opportunities. Same thing with, you know, traveling the world and going on different trips, and enjoying my life, enjoying special moments with your SP or your friends, just those things. So it's magnetic. And so mood for me is highly important. So I've heard people mention, like, you know, okay, you could just do robotic affirmations and you don't need to feel a thing. I mean, maybe it's possible. Again, it's the Wild West when it comes to the law of assumption. So I think that anything you focus enough on can do something for sure. I find actually robotic affirmations is the best for if you have some stinking thinking. If you think a thought specifically on purpose and say it in your mind or out loud, I forget what it is, like 10,000 times, you can rewire or refire a new thought. That's where I love robotic affirmations. So I learned that as well, because I never knew what a robotic affirmation was. But I anything that we can put emotion behind, my understanding and my feeling that I feel congruent with, is something that you are going to manifest or align with quicker. Just my 2 cents, just my personal point of view, but I've heard people say I didn't even feel a thing, and I can relate to that. I mean, the things that I manifested throughout this year, I wasn't attached to them. I wasn't like, oh my gosh, I have to have that. It was more like, well, that would be nice, or wouldn't this be fun, or that sounds great. But so there were just thoughts, but it's knowing that I am living my dream life. It's knowing I already have my SP. It's knowing I already have everything working out for me. So there's a difference. I don't know if you can see where the hair splits there, at least from my understanding. So the mood. I did some videos on the mood state and how to keep it there. I think it's system critical. Audios, just like I said, I love to listen to vibrationally enhanced audios. I love to listen to Isn't It Wonderful? Because everything is just wonderful. I love subliminals. I think those are very, very important, especially when you're sleeping. Music that enhances a certain mood, or even a movie. Like around the time where things were really starting to pop, you know, and just really like, wow, everything's like happening at once kind of thing. One of my favorite movies at the time, and it just kind of goes with the theme of things, was Upgraded. I don't know if you've seen that movie, but I love it because it represents the energy of possibilities. And that is another vibration I really love. Just the idea is possibilities, because there's not a lot of attachment in that. So anything that represents the possibilities and dreams and potential, I think has a strong vibration to it. And then also I do listen to or do watch a video at night as well. And I kind of mix these all up along with sats. But I do believe, and I've come across this a couple times on YouTube, is about the law of exposure. Now, I did not know what that was at the time, but law of exposure is really valuable. So, and I've been watching this video for years now, to be honest with you, off and on. But there's one video, and I'll have to talk about it. I can tell you the guy's name. His name is Caesar Talbeck. And let me see. Oh, it's not queued up. But anyway, we'll mention in another video. But law of exposure, what are you being exposed to? So as an example, you know, I live in a really lovely neighborhood and different things, but there's different aspects of my life where it's not necessarily would always represent your dream state. But I like the exposure to all my dreams coming true, and they are. But exposing myself as much as possible. I think I need to take a sip. I knew this was going to be a long video, but these are the things on my heart and mind that I really want to help share and encourage and support you on your journey as well. These are my discoveries from this year. So anyway, I love the law of exposure because when I heard about it, it's how true that no matter what any aspect of your life looks like, if you can expose yourself to the ultimate version of lifestyle, of the things you want to surround yourself with, you know, it's kind of, for me, it's like sats. It reminds me of sats, because when sats, you go all in, you're there, you're experiencing it. Well, you find the most amazing video, and this has beautiful music that has meaning behind it too, if you actually find it. Again, I have to learn how to pin things too. I don't know how to do that yet. So still learning people. But I love this audio or this video. And it's, like I said, a luxury video, but it helps me stay in alignment for the things that I want to be exposed to and in greater alignment with. So I love that as well. Like I said, subliminals. Okay, so subliminals. I think they're amazing. You can listen to them anytime. You have to be careful. They'll say whether you should be driving or not driving. But you know, when Neville talks about our subconscious mind, and that's why we do sats, and you know, our mind is wide open at night and also first thing in the morning. So I know that many people have heard state akin to sleep is just nighttime. Nope. I discovered this because I set my timer for a couple times throughout the night in case I doze off. I have another opportunity, plus I can switch an audio I'm listening to. I like to maximize my nighttime, but first thing in the morning too, middle of the night, whatever works for you. Just when you're falling asleep and when you first wake up, the door to your subconscious mind is more open than any other time. But the subconscious is always listening. It is always recording. And so what are we putting into it? So I love affirmations, and my favorite affirmation channel is a gal, her name, I've been following her forever. And I've had some great success with her, working with her stuff. I think her subliminals are pure and trustable because I've heard there are people who could be nefarious about what they also put in the subliminals. I don't know. That's not an assumption I work off of, but just to share that. And also they're powerful and they get results. I've seen them. I've seen the results. You can change anything. Like she has stuff with dream life. She has stuff with beauty goals, luck and prosperity, health, fitness goals, you name it. And her channel is the Lucy Herzig. Herzig, channel. And I love her material. A lot of it has either rain sounds or classical music. I like both. Rain sounds are great for sleeping at nighttime. During the day, I love the classical. And there's other channels that have more modern music, but classical music is a very high vibrational, and she aligns all of these with different vibrations anyway. So very, 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 very powerful. Like I said, I'm here to share and demonstrate. That's my channel. That's what this vlog is about. Again, I knew today was going to be a long video, but hopefully there's things in here that you can use. I'm sure of it. I'm assuming it. So, and it's her Delta audio that I listen to. Everybody talks about like theta waves or going to sleep, and you know, that's that time where it's best. Well, also too, Delta is like the one that's deepest, for like almost like hypnotizing yourself. And so that's important. Delta waves, because I listen to Delta first and then I pop on a subliminal. So I do have a whole regimen, and it might sound exhausting. Like I said, my final summary at the end is that you don't really need all of that, but it all helps, and it enhances everything. And then there's just layers upon layers that you that our subconscious is cooperating with our conscious mind. And I think everything beautifully weaves together. And we're taking advantage of nighttime, which we're usually sleeping. So that's like what, 6, 7, 8 hours, 9 hours for some people. So I love to maximize my nighttime. So then there is SATS, our state akin to sleep. And Neville's cornerstone for really everything. And I believe that to be true. I feel like once you've done the SATs multiple times, it's interesting. I still go in and go to my favorite SATs because it feels so good. But so I tend to dwell there for long periods of time, but it can be just 5 minutes. And you can do it again, nighttime, first thing in the morning. And really you can close your eyes any time of day and just do it for a couple seconds or a minute or so. But I had to learn that as much as I love a long SATs, I do, especially if I'm in the mood and I've got the time. But I realized a quick 5-minute is cool too, especially if you've got a lot going and you're really tired. That's why I came up with setting my timer or my alarm on my phone throughout the night. because I like the opportunity to, if I drifted off, and I know we're technically not really supposed to drift off, we're supposed to be uncomfortable the way we're sitting or whatever. But if you're tired enough and you have full enough days, I find setting a timer a couple times a night, or to readjust a video. If you listen to some videos, sometimes they can go sideways middle of the night. So there's that. So I love all those things. These has been this year. So, just to say it another way, you do not need 100 processes to manifest. So I've seen and I've heard, I kind of stick to channels that are more like bare bones. It's like they have one specific message and a handful of things they focus on. But I've heard mentioned about the 5 zillion different processes that are out there. So you don't need all that. I would say anything that helps you stay in the end state and feel the feeling of the end state, that's valuable. But do you need 100 processes or the latest and greatest, the trendiest? No, you don't need it. You don't need it. You just only need a small handful of what helps you live in the end state and help you stay there. That's it. Decide what works for you. That's why I like journaling and writing down and kind of just saying, this is what I'm doing for this month or the next couple months, etc. Feel out what really helped me stay there, and then just stick with it. And occasionally I branch out and explore a couple different things, but really the meat and potatoes of it is just the real stats. The thank you prayer. Isn't it wonderful? Everything's wonderful. That's not changed from the beginning of the year. There's just things I learned along the way, and there's things that are helping enhance a bit of everything. But really, that's all you need. And then there's just choosing, which I just shared a couple of my channels that I love for just choosing your state. Choose to be impeccably healthy. That power of I am. Choose to be undeniably wealthy. Choose to be free. Choose that for you. And so I combo those both, because when you, especially if you go check out those 2 channels that I love, the Be Something Wonderful and the Power of I Am, they help you understand the empowerment of it. But I think you can find it on your own. It's just really great to talk and hear and listen to someone where that's their focus, and hear what the community is about, and the power and the empowerment that comes from the power of I am, and how biblical it is. They both will break it down and add scripture to it here and there, just to say like, hey, the Bible is talking about it all along. So it's very powerful. It's very spiritual. It's very profound. So I do both. I blend it all. So we talked about the power of now in quantum physics. And then also the all in again. And I will mention it one more time, because just like I mentioned with friends, when so many things were happening this year, and my friends were like, well, why are you still talking about this Neville guy? Like, why are you actually still doing stuff? What is it? Like, you're done, right? And I'm like, no. Especially from having been a student of the law of attraction, the law of assumption, we're ever expanding. Like, if I've learned nothing else, and like you get something in a short amount of time, just like a little kid who opens up their Christmas presents, in a short amount of time, after they played with their toys a few times, you're on to the next thing. It's normal. We're ever expanding. So just as much as you love your SP, you love your dream car, you love your finances, you love your latest trip, there's always the next trip. There's always the next thing. There's always the next pair of shoes. I don't know. It's never ending. So to be magnetic and actually jump to the next version of alignment you would want to choose for yourself, that's what you would do. You would stay in your end state. You'd do all this. Affirmations. We did talk about those. So, and I loved hearing about affirmations in this way. So let's talk about affirmations for a moment. because when I heard it worded this way, it was very powerful. So affirmations are really just thoughts. And so that's why choosing affirmations are so powerful and important, because our thoughts all day are just affirmations, and they're just choosing your energetic vibration of what you want to align to at that moment by moment. So those are moment to moment affirmations are your thoughts. That's why I ended up really liking and understanding robotic affirmations. I'm not sure how I feel about all the rest of it, but I do know that it helps reprogram stinking thinking in your mind if you're stuck on a loop and you can't get out on a topic. But also too, it's just saying that, like, just be aware. What are you thinking all the day long? Your thoughts are affirmations. That's why we create. If you doubt that you are a powerful creator, I'm here to remind you right now you are, because look around you. What is around you is things you have visualized, feared, thought about, pondered, just over the years. What you see around you right now, or what you are aware of in your world, is a summary of all that. So you want to have new thoughts, new affirmations. Some people love the robotics. I would say I love it for